Hello, friends. Wish you all the best for your coming NEET exams, right, and your preparation as well. This is a small, what do you call, video which I have made on discussing this chapter called Structure of Atom, right? And from a NEET perspective, let's look at some analysis of how this chapter has behaved, in the past 10 years, in the NEET examination. So let me just give me 1 minute. I can screen share. Great. You look at this fact sheet of these questions which have come in the past 10 years. I want you to just have a look at this portion on. Great. In 2013, we had 3 questions coming from this chapter. 2014, again 3. 2015, again 3. The repeat paper we had in 2015, we got 2 questions. And thereafter, 2016, 17, 18, 19, I can have on an average actually see, right, that there have been roughly 2 to 3 questions, from this chapter every year, which is quite a bit, right? So if you look at this chapter from an importance point of view, I will say it's quite an important chapter because structure of atom has got some direct links with, radioactivity, chemical kinetics also, and little bit of modern physics. Right, so Bohr's theory is like kind of common to modern physics as well as chemistry. So the frequency of this chapter suggests, that this chapter should be one of the important ones. Secondly, because this comes under the very easy kind of chapters, it's not one of the difficult chapters. So I think our analysis should tell us that this should be quite unachievable. Okay, let's just have a look at it. Now in 2013. We've got a simple question, on calculation of wavelength, right? You all know nu is C by lambda. So it's a simple formula where you have to do nothing else but just apply, the basic formula. Planck's constant de diya hai, and they've given you speed of light. So I don't think calculation of wavelength should be an issue. Which of these lanthanide ions is diamagnetic? This actually might be, could be classified under an F block as well, but electronic configurations fall under atomic structure. So the diamagnetic and paramagnetic kind of thing should be, right, very clearly be based on electronic configurations for F block elements. So I'm sure you people must have learned that. And now you see that out of the 3 questions, 1 question has been on simple Bohr's theory, right? That based on energy and some conclusions which you can derive out of energy. So far what I've just seen is some Planck's theory, right? Some electronic configurations and Bohr's theory. Let's look at 2014. We have had 1 question from quantum numbers also here, right, in 2013. And I just want to collect out all of these things. Magnetic moment is again diamagnetic, paramagnetic. So electronic configurations, we can put this, quantum numbers, and again calculation of wavelength. So nu is equal to C by lambda, kind of seems to be one of the examiner's favorites from any standpoint. Again, you have 1 question from magnetic moment, 1 is again from electronic configurations, and 1 is for calculation of angular momentum. So far I haven't seen any de Broglie's equation, any photoelectric effect, right? I haven't seen any question from that area. But let's go on. We have once again come across 1 question from electronic configuration. So electronic configurations kind of seems to be a very fertile area, from which questions pop. This is again 1 on electronic configurations only because it's directly related to Aufbau rule, increasing energy of the listed subshells. And then you can see another coming on quantum numbers in 2016 and 1 coming from electronic configurations again. So now you know what you have to study, you know what you have to read. So particularly, I can see just 1 mention of de Broglie's wavelength uncertainty principle, but that's not a question on these. These are just choices, right? And some exchange energy balancing. Okay. Let's see 2018. We once again have magnetic moment. So what I can very clearly list out here, right, is magnetic moment, electronic configurations, one of the hot topics, in atomic structure. So when you are reading atomic structure and preparing it for NEET, it's very, very important for you to touch on these chapters. But let's go forward. There is one on Hund's rule, which you can see here. right? Orbitals, Hund's rule, and the part which is linked with electronic configurations, orbital angular momentum, and some quantum numbers. Value of m for dz square is 0. So this also comes under quantum numbers. Now I can see one again on Aufbau rule, right, which is again decreasing energy of subshells. And this is the first one which I've seen, in so many years coming on emission spectrum, hydrogen emission spectrum. So we again come to magnetic moment. So believe me, take it from me or not, but magnetic moment is the hot topic for structure of atom. Electronic configurations, Aufbau principle, that's very easy. I'm like, that portion is very achievable and easy. So that portion, as well as magnetic moment, proton, neutrons, and electrons is something which could be linked to radioactivity also. And in 2021, we had one where he's again asking you wavelength. Nu is c by lambda. So if you sum total this entire chapter, Planck's law, nu is c by lambda, magnetic moment, and electronic configurations, these are the hot topics, right? Now, I haven't seen anything coming up from de Broglie's equation. Photoelectric effect, there has been nothing in the past 10 years, probably because photoelectric effect also falls under physics. So they might be asking you a question there, so you don't get any question. And we haven't seen anything coming from the earlier part of this chapter, like cathode ray tube experiment, Robert Millikan's, J.J. Thomson's, nothing. Plum pudding model, we haven't seen anything. Rutherford's gold foil alpha scattering experiment, we haven't seen anything. So if you look at the initial historical details, there has been nothing. De Broglie's equation, there has been nothing practically. And Heisenberg's uncertainty, there has been nothing, no numerical but per se. Even in Bohr's theory, we have seen one question coming on energy, that's it, right? No radius, no velocity, no angular momentum calculation. So hot topics have been magnetic moment calculation, paramagnetic, diamagnetic, magnetic moment, electronic configurations specifically, right? So if you look at the listing of my analysis on general remarks for this chapter, the general viewpoint of this chapter shows that questions have come from areas like Planck's theory, which is quite important. Bohr's theory is a mention here. There's just one question from Bohr's theory and one question from hydrogen emission spectrum. Quantum numbers, yes. Electronic configurations, yes. So out of even what has come here, I can pinpoint important ones like quantum numbers, electronic configurations, these, and magnetic moment. I'm like, this is the, I suppose I have seen maximum number of questions coming from this area. We have not seen any question coming from photoelectric effect, probably because it falls under physics as well. And any earlier historical experiments such as J.J. Thomson's CR tube, Rutherford's plum pudding, and Schrodinger wave equation, we haven't seen anything coming in, right? Nothing on wave functions or anything. So an average of 2 questions per NEET chemistry paper is very important, because 2 questions is can mean selection or no selection. So 2 questions is too much, right? If you ask me from a NEET perspective, then my general observation, most questions fall under the easy category and do not involve any complicated mathematical calculations. A lot of easy and important questions have been seen so far. This is a very achievable chapter and can be mastered with minimal practice. And when you are mastering this chapter, it's also helping you for physics, not only for chemistry. So it helps you on both the fronts, not just one. Best part is that there have been questions in every NEET paper from this chapter. So undoubtedly, there are going to be at least 2 questions coming from this chapter in the coming NEET exam as well. So, okay. So you have kind of seen the overall ranking of this chapter comes under a very important chapter, right? So I'm pretty certain, right, that most of you people will be able to master out this chapter. And when you are mastering structure of atom, don't think that it's just structure of atom. You're also mastering nuclear chemistry in the radioactivity portion that we have in kinetics. Plus, you are also mastering modern physics, portion of modern physics. Bohr's theory also falls there. Photoelectric effect also falls there. So this chapter, I think, is more like a treasure chapter. It's going to be $1 million chapter for you if you do this well, and if it is well prepared. I'm certain 100% that you will do very well in NEET, right? And do this chapter. Don't leave it, right? It's not something which can be left, because it's very, very easy. So do it, and wish you all the best for NEET. Hope this analysis helps, right? I'll see you again. Thank you very much.